requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room and is accessible to the public. Simpson.
Here.
Sisson.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Gibbons.
Here.
Urban. Here. Marvin.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Alden.
Here.
Thank you. At this time, we'll stand up for a moment of silence, followed by a pledge of allegiance. Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now it's time for number one, consent agenda. Approve this agenda. Approve the city's treasurer's report for November 2018. Pay the claims as submitted. Approve the minutes of the December 4th, 2018 regular council meeting. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Aldridge.
Second.
Second by Larry Gibbons.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Urban.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Alden.
Yes.
Thank you. There's now time for the public forum. If you have anybody out in the public wishes to address the council, now is the time. Please state your name and address. If not, I will close the public forum. Item 3, presentation of donation from Allman Brothers to the Holdridge Volunteer Fire Department.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Jim Kaplinski.
Yep. So I had the opportunity to meet some of you a couple of meetings ago when we were talking about the road and everything. But today I really have a great honor and privilege to give back to the community a little bit. So if you guys want to come on up here.
Care if I put on my hat again?
So, yeah. So, you know, Allman and Briggs and Stratton are so excited and appreciative to have the opportunity to support our local heroes at the Holdridge Volunteer Fire Department. We're grateful for all your sacrifices and everything that you guys do. You truly are heroes each and every day. You keep our community safe, and it's a nicer place to live and work because of you. We're proud at Allman to have some of our employees also participate in the volunteer fire department, and that makes us very proud as well. So on behalf of Allman and the Briggs and Stratton Foundation, I'm very excited to support the volunteer fire department of Holdridge with a donation check of $5,000 towards the purchase of a much-needed thermal imaging camera. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Jim,
Yeah.
don't go off yet. Okay? But we're being live streamed tonight. You guys had your backs to everybody here.
That I didn't know.
But along the line here with supporting the fire department, what else you've done this week? Robotics.
Oh, last week we gave a check for $5,000 to the high school's robotics club, so that they have more financial means to compete with the other schools that are out there. So, and that's more in line with the work that Allman does by doing that wiring and making moving parts. That truly was exciting to be able to help the kids out and give the school $5,000 for that as well.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Work in the fire department?
Yes, I would.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Most of you people don't know Allman Brothers has been a backer of the fire department for years and years. Walt Allman would not buy gas from a filling station unless there was a firefighter working there. Did any of you know that? And that's the honest to God truth. There was normally $1,000, whatever they could afford, every Christmas in January for as long as I can remember. And it was used for firefighters themselves. They've been super, and I'm glad that we've got people like Jim to carry on with that, because they're very, very helpful in the fire service. We make calls out there and that, you know, but that's a way above and beyond what we normally do.
And I believe you guys have an almonds light in the fire department?
Yeah, it's been donated.
It was donated.
A couple different times, upgraded, donated.
It's been hauled to Kearney before,
Yeah.
I know, different
Yeah.
times.
A couple of generators in the back of the rigs are partially donated by them. They've been really good. And I appreciate you very much, sir.
Thank you, we appreciate what you guys do.
Yeah, the imager, I don't know if you all know what that is, but the one we have is, you know, we can see a fire in a wall, and it'll just show it up like that, and you'll see the fire growing inside the wall. This one has for hazardous materials too. We've also used ours for people that get lost out of the homes and that during the fall. We can go on their footprints on the cold ground, and you can trace them right down. So,
Wow.
so it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat machine. So, and we'll use it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Great.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
City thanks Allman Brothers and Briggs and Stratton. We'll take that any time that we can. Appreciate that. Item 4, approve plans and specifications for the new ball field complex concession stand building.
Good evening, Your Honor, council, members of staff. My name is Bruce Groupie with Olson. Office is located at 701 4th Avenue here in Holdridge. Tonight, we're here to present a set of plans to you for the concessions building, a portion of that, the ball field complex. We at Olson don't do architecture work. We prefer to team with good teammates. In this case, we teamed with Wilkins. Jacob is here to present them plans to you. I think he's done a fabulous job putting a set of plans together, and I'm sure you'd be happy with them. I'll let Jacob take over.
Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate it. Yeah, we have a good partnership here with Olson on this project, and so just bear with me here. Thank you, Dane, for helping. It's too bad
Sorry, it didn't work.
projector didn't work, so, but at least
It didn't work.
At least I always try to come prepared anyways, and so I brought a projector from our office, and so we should be ready to go here. I wasn't sure, I think I see some of the hard copies there. Do you want me to sit down or stand up?
Sit down if you want. That's your
Okay,
choice.
I'm fine either way. I see you all have, looks like some of the hard copies of the study portion of the project. So you can see some of those images. It looks like you have hard copies of those. I have that up here on the screen. Again, because I wasn't sure what all you've seen in terms of what we've been working on. So I thought I would just show this briefly. Thank you for doing that. Appreciate that. We, as Bruce mentioned, our firm, so I should back up just for a second. Our firm, Wilkins Architecture Design Planning, we are located in Kearney. We'll be celebrating our 40th anniversary coming up this next year. And so we're very excited to be part of this project. My wife is a Holdridge native and graduated from Holdridge High School, so it's always fun to work on any projects down here in Holdridge. So anyways, so as you see, you can see the four fields there, the 2 baseball and the 2 softball, and then right situated between the four fields, of course, is the concession building, concession and restroom building, and it's 44 feet square, so it's a perfect square, 44 by 44, a little under 2,000 square feet. And then extending out basically from the building, we are showing and proposing these sun shelter and picnic shelter canopies that would extend out in the four directions from the concession building. As a means to protect the budget, we have identified those as being a bid alternate. So when the project bids, the cost for those picnic shelter, the sun shelter canopies, those will be isolated as a separate line item cost, and then the city can determine based upon where the collective bids for both the concession building part of the project and the fields portion of the project, you can determine whether or not you want to move forward with doing the canopies or not. That's at this time that's the only bid alternate that we've identified for the building part of the project. Now here you get a little bit up closer view of the proposed building, and so the building structure is masonry, and I have, when we get to the end here and I turn the lights back on, I brought a couple of the finishes, of the proposed finishes. I brought a couple of those with me. I didn't bring everything with, but a couple of the predominant items I brought with here. So there's, as proposed, we have three split face block types. There's three different colors. They're all the split face, and I've got those again here. I'll show you a little bit later. So the building is a masonry structure. The roof structure for the building itself are wood trusses, and then there's a standing seam metal roof not only on the concession building but also on the canopies, the sun shelter canopies as well. Then from there, I will go to, there's another bird's eye view. So now here I've jumped to the final bidding documents as proposed for the project. And we'll jump a couple of sheets ahead here. Before I get to that, I'm going to zoom in here. So, just to kind of orient you on the building here a little bit, so north is straight up. Again, the building is situated about 45 degrees from north, and so the basic layout of the building, right here is the concession stand, and when I go to the next page, I'll show you a little more detail on that. But this is the concession stand, and then these are the two restrooms, men's, women's. And then on the corner here, we have a family restroom. And then this space right here is an umpire's room for umpires to change in or just get out of the elements for a couple minutes. And then they have a restroom as well, right off the umpire's room. And then around the corner, this is a storage area. And then this room right here is mechanical and electrical. So for instance, the field lighting controls, the irrigation controls, sound system controls, all of that will be in this part of the building here. And as I understand it, when the complex opens up, this will be the primary, probably likely the only built structure out there at the beginning. And so anything that needs to be stored, for the most part, that would need to be stored within this area in this building here. So then with that, I'm going to just highlight one other thing. Out on the corners here, are drinking fountains, handicap accessible, but also there's multiple heights to them. One height would be geared for children, another would be for adults, and there's also a lower one for dogs as well. If you've been to Patriot Park in Kearney, they have the same drinking fountains there, at least the ones outside of the main building there in Kearney. I'm going to jump to the next sheet. Here everything's just kind of straight up and down for the purposes of putting together the bidding documents. I'll just maybe highlight a couple of things in the concession stand. So the main serving window is right here, and then there's a secondary serving window on this side here. Now you certainly don't need to, operate it with having both windows be serving windows, but we thought it would be a good idea to have this window up here so that the workers are able to see, at least have a view of two of the fields. And again, the primary reason to locate the concession stand in the north part of the building was to cut down and basically eliminate as much as possible any direct sunlight from filtering into from shining into the concession stand and heating it up that much more. So, most of the building that faces south would be the storage area and a portion of the umpire's room. But otherwise the restrooms and the concession stand, for the most part, face north or slightly west of north. So in the concession stand, there's plenty of cabinets for storage. Have a sink, of course. We're showing a merchandiser cooler here for pop and Gatorade and those types of things. Refrigerator, a hand wash sink, which is kind of customary for anywhere where you're doing any work with food, to have a separate hand wash sink. And then we've got some other concession equipment that is, as of right now, it's all included as a part of the bid package. I can touch on that if you would like, but I don't want to keep you here all night. The countertops here would be stainless steel, just thinking in terms of durability and cleaning and all that maintenance. So that's stainless steel countertops there. And then the roll-up doors are aluminum, the coiling counter doors. In the restrooms then, pretty straightforward, but we have wash fountains in both restrooms. We do have some electric hand dryers, and then same thing as far as the family restroom, the umpire's toilet, and all of that. We have some hooks here in the umpire's room. Other than that, there's not really any other furnishings to speak of in the umpire's room. I'm sure the city will provide some chairs or a couple benches or something like that for the umpire's room. I'm going to jump to one more sheet, I believe, and then I'll turn the lights back on and show you briefly some of the proposed finishes on the building. So here are just the straight-on elevation views. You see here these designations, SF1, SF2, SF3. Those are the three split-face block types that we have proposed for the building. We do have some signage on the building. Again, anytime you have kind of an assembly venue, it's always important to mark clearly so that people can see from a distance, okay, which one's the men's restroom, women's, family restroom. That'll be marked on there. So that's the one view there. And then this is the side of the building with the storage area. That's the mechanical room door. That's a walk door to the storage area. And then you see one of the sides with the concession window on it. And now, so this one, we did have, so one of the windows then, we have the top of the counter is at 34 inches to comply with ADA requirements, accessibility guidelines. And then you can see this is the elevation that has the men's and women's restroom, and then the smaller concession window there in it. The rest of the documents, of course, provide more details for the structure. There's interior elevations of the kitchen and everything like that that show all the cabinets and casework and other details as well. And then, of course, there are structural drawings and mechanical and electrical drawings as well. The structural engineering, mechanical, electrical, plumbing engineering is all done by Olson out of a couple of their different offices. And so if you have any questions on that, certainly be happy to entertain those. All the lights proposed are all LED, of course, which you would expect in 2018-19. And the building will be the occupied spaces, so the restrooms, concession stand, family restroom, umpire's room, will be heated, will be capable of being heated and cooled, but the design is for it to be a 3-season building. So the thought is when you get to fall, at the end of fall, at some point, then you would prepare the building for the winter months, and then late winter, early spring, fire it back up again and get everything running in the building and in the complex. I might turn the lights, unless you'd like to get them for me. Thank you. Just show you some of the finishes briefly, and then open it up for questions. And Bruce as well. Bruce has some of the more detailed information on as far as the ball fields themselves. So you can tell here the split face. Everybody knows what the split face texture is. So we've got these 3 colors here on the to make up the building. The exterior. And again, if you go back to the renderings, the closer up view, you can kind of get a sense for how the colors are laid out and distributed on the building as well. And then as far as interior colors, a lot of basically all neutral colors, so ones that will stand the test of time and not date as quickly. So this color here would be basically the field color on the inside of the interior spaces. It's called gray area is the color. You're welcome. I can pass it around if you like. And then the toilet partitions are they're a solid phenolic panel. The partitions are designed to be abuse and vandal resistant. These hold up real well. So again, it'll actually be. I couldn't find the actual gray color that we have selected. It's a little darker than this here. And then this would be the laminate on the cabinets in the concession stand. Of course, the countertops would be stainless steel, but these would be on the cabinet doors and drawers. The standing seam metal roof, I didn't bring a sample of that, but the proposed color for that would be a dark green color, kind of pretty popular color when it comes to ballparks and things like that. Fits well, it complements the, obviously the green grass and all of that. I think, so then I guess last thing I might mention, I have all the specs here as well, but maybe just to highlight some dates with pending your approval here tonight. Our intention, so we're done with the documents, our intention then would be to send the documents out to bid tomorrow, and then of course with the holidays coming up, we'll have a little bit longer bid period perhaps than we normally would, but not really that much. So then we would propose a bid date of January 8th at 2:00 p.m. and bids would be received here at City Hall, and then I believe the 16th, I think it is, the January 16th council meeting, you would, if the bids come in okay, then you would have the opportunity to award a contract then to the low qualified bidder for the concession building part of the project. I don't know, Bruce, if you want to touch on the ball fields themselves. That's a part of a separate package, and then we'll have its own bid date as well. So I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, the status of the ball fields. We obviously there was a lot of coordination between the ball fields and the buildings, and we've been working on them for quite a while. Those of you that have been by, you probably, I'm sure you've noticed we've done a lot of work. The grading has been done already. The storm sewer's done and in the ground. The sanitary sewer service and to supply the building has been installed. The water main has been installed by your own forces to service the building and the irrigation system. So we're in the process of finaling up all the disciplines for the building, not only coordinating the building with the site, with the concrete, with the dugouts, with fencing. So our schedule is to get a completed and compiled set of plans to staff by the end of this week so they can start reviewing it. And then we'll be coming back and showing you some of that stuff. You want to add to that, Bob?
Just Randy and I talking, I'm thinking maybe January 8th might be too soon with the holidays.
Too soon, okay. Yeah.
I mean, where we're just gonna get plans the end of the week. A lot of these companies, no different than City Hall, no one's gonna be here working,
Right.
so. I think we ought to put it off 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
And then, Jacob, you were gonna give me some, or Bruce, so we can advertise.
You bet. We'll get to that.
Do we have to do it 2 weeks before, or what's the?
Well, I would think you'd have to follow your general rules where you advertise, where you usually advertise 3 consecutive weeks.
Okay.
At least advertise, quite often you'll bid that third week, but you're advertising.
Okay.
You're meeting the requirements of advertising, but you can still bid during that third week.
But I think we ought to back it up 2 weeks.
And understand.
Give people a chance.
You bet, and make it totally clear, this is for the building only, not the ball field that you approve, and the plans you'll have the joy of reviewing at a future date. When? Well, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna get them to Bob here at the end of the week. There's a little bit of coordination that needed to be done with electrical, bringing the primary electrical in and whatnot, so a couple of weeks there. I don't know, I can't speak for staff, but in the near future.
This is first. We need to get this before we go.
Yeah.
And we'll worry about it.
Yeah, this is work that can typically be done in the winter. You know, most of the ball field work is the type of work you're gonna have to do in the spring and summer.
Questions?
Do you have a diagram of the maintenance room?
Yeah, let me switch here to another. Now, of course, there is some, and I can switch to either a mechanical drawing or electrical drawing. There, of course, there is some equipment in here. There's also a little bit of equipment right in this area here, and I can show you that drawing if you'd like, so you can see what. Are you getting at how much space is available in there for storage of different?
Yeah, I was
different
just
things that
wondering
you got?
if all the stuff that you have planned on going over there could fit in the little notch out there to utilize that whole other section. That left side attached to the umpire's room.
True. over
Is
there.
that big enough to cover a lot of the equipment so that maybe you could have an overhead door on the far side?
Yeah, some of the problems there were the clearances on some of the electrical, there's clearance requirements.
Because I just imagine they're gonna have a gator or a four-wheeler with a drag and stuff they'd have to store there and.
Yeah, we looked at moving that in there, but it just didn't fit with the clearances required and the amount of, you can see we're utilizing most of that building, and obviously you need to have some clearances on that and get in and maintain them, be able to pull them out and work on them, so.
This
Like
is-
Ben mentioned, will there be an overhead door for the lawnmower or something like that?
Yeah, right here is
Oh, that's the overhead.
Yeah.
yeah, 10-foot wide, 8-foot tall, overhead door with a opener on it.
Bob?
Well, eventually to the north, we want to put a storage building up where we can keep all
Have another building for like the
the,
mowing
like the
equipment and stuff.
gators and all, that's, you know, our pickups or whatever we need, tractors, just an additional equipment storage.
And kind of utilize this more for any of the actual baseball equipment that needs to be
Like the
stored.
stuff that,
Yeah.
for the field.
Bases and-
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Well, the gator and stuff will be stored here though.
Yeah.
You can't drive through this complex. I mean,
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
true.
drive vehicles through there, so
Yeah.
their stuff will be used right here,
Yeah.
right in that building.
Yeah, we actually, with the grading package, graded a level pad there for that building Bob's talking about up on the north end of the field. So, lended itself pretty well.
In the umpire's room, could have men or women umpires, but that's not gonna be concerned, just the one bathroom.
Well, it'll be, yeah, obviously a single occupant toilet, and we weren't really looking at this, because we talked about that, we weren't really looking at this as like a locker room per se, as it is an area to put your belongings or get out of the elements for a little while, cool off, grab a drink or whatever, use the restroom, but it's a single occupant restroom, so we're not intending that this would really be, you know, like a full on locker room.
That won't be a shower, but still
Yeah,
just
right, that's why, yeah, there's not a
men
shower.
and ladies umpire room.
Yeah.
You're away from the parent.
Yeah. You're really proud.
Yeah, it's got a door to close for privacy. Similar to the family type restroom.
Just use the restrooms pretty much for a storm shelter if need arises.
Yeah, I mean, these aren't, I don't want to mislead you and say that these are FEMA 361 rated storm shelters, because they're not, and if we wanted to go that route, it would add a significant amount of cost to the project, but it certainly is probably, you know, as good a place as any, maybe short of going over to the elementary school, but that, again, that might not be open on a July 3rd day or something like that either, so that's probably something that maybe you'd want to discuss as far as like an emergency preparedness plan or something like that, if, you know, if inclement weather's coming or dangerous weather's coming or something like that, have a plan in place, you know, for that, when that happens.
We have made arrangements for a intercom system for public address with the entire package. Not to call ball games, but for emergency type situations, to alert the fans and the players.
I just measured there. I just measured there. It's just shy of 14 feet clear from basically from the overhead door to the back wall of the restrooms there. Yes, sir.
Right.
Has there been any buildings similar to this built in this area that the council could look at, or, I mean?
Oh, you know, there are some similarities here with one of the buildings at Patriot Park in Kearney. However, like in terms of like the interior amenities and things like that, and the concession stand and the restrooms, the one difference is on the Patriot Park building, the main building there, that is a pre-engineered metal building, whereas this is a predominantly masonry structure. But some of their interior walls there are masonry, but so there's some differences there. I would say, and I apologize, I'm not as familiar with all the existing park buildings here in Holdridge, but I know like at the North Park, the restrooms there, I don't know, maybe you redid those with when you put in the new tennis courts and all that, but it'd be a similar, you know, it's a similar finish level to some degree as those, but I think in some areas perhaps a little bit nicer, probably. I can't remember if there's any partitions in that restroom at the North Park, but it'd be similar. I know those are block. I'm not sure I've been in the one at the South Park here, but most of the Kearney Park buildings would be real similar to this. For instance, like at Pioneer Park, Nina Hammer Park in Kearney. Yeah, most of the park buildings that are about this size would be similar in nature. But nothing's exactly like this where I could say, yeah, if you go to Alma, their ball field has the exact same building. They all are a little bit different, but you can kind of gather some things from the different buildings that you have here in Holders or Kearney or some other places I'm sure you've been to.
Randy?
One of the problems that we've had with this is just the size of it. This is the biggest building we can get in there. It looks like there's all kinds of space up there, all kinds of ground, but there's not. We're taking up everything up there, and I mean, even to try to get those wings in there and stuff, it was just tough.
Yeah. What we got? 13 acres, is that what it is? 13 or 14?
Yeah, and we're using it all.
Yeah, by the time we put 4 ball fields on it,
Yeah.
it eats it up.
And I think Jacob's done a really good job of laying this out. I mean, Bob and I have worked with him several times. And I think he's got everything in there that we're gonna need. I mean, it is, as far as I'm concerned, it's like a Cadillac. It is so nice in there, the way he's got that design laid out. I think the public's gonna be very impressed.
I like the idea of this design better than the one that is on the back page, just for the fact of getting your plumbing all kind of contained between the 2 bathrooms. You'll save some cost right there, so.
And again, I mean, along those lines, you know, our goal, and I think we were successful in that, was to get all the plumbing off of the exterior walls. Again, you're not going to be running this in January, but still try to keep everything efficiently situated and located.
Weather can surprise you sometimes.
That's true. Yes. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, like Randy said, the time we get, and you'll see this in the plans coming in the future for the ball field, the time we get the building in there and the shade structures, and the bleachers for each field, and the dugouts, and the bullpen, you know, it's tight. We're utilizing all the space. Is it an electrical type of heat as far as what we're gonna have for take the chill off?
No, it's actually basically mini split systems, so you know, not totally unlike that you would see in like a hotel room, for instance. they're not gonna be like through wall. You know, you won't see a bunch of PTAC units around the side of the building, but it's that similar technology. So you get the heating and the cooling both.
We were in New Mexico a month and a half ago, and the place we stayed, that's what they had throughout the house down there was, because they really didn't need a lot of heat and cooling,
Yeah.
but they were that kind of a system. Worked well.
Yeah.
Mike?
Do we have a date when this will be ready to go to use?
Year and a half away.
Summer of
It won't be this year.
Okay.
A lot of work to get done yet.
I was gonna say, if it's gonna be this year, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, it takes quite a while to get the site established and get it going, and, you know, if you rush it and play on it, you're just gonna be playing the catch-up game the whole time, and Kim's not gonna be happy with you.
Probably 4 months on this building though is reasonable if they, because I would assume we would, if we bid 2 weeks after January 8th, you would take bids to the February council then? So then maybe they start construction March 1st or shortly thereafter, and then about 4 months to construct that building. So that'll be done, I guess, probably well in advance of the final finishing touches on the complex itself.
Any more questions? If not, we need a motion to approve the plans and specifications.
I would move to approve.
I'll second.
Doug Simpson, Mike Sisson.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbons. Burbine. Yes. Marvin.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carried.
Appreciate it, and it's a fun project. These are always fun.
Looking forward to it.
It's gonna be quite a condition of the community.
Item 5, adopt resolution 2018-14, adding section 6-17, prescription safety glasses to the City of Holdridge personnel plan. This is one of the issues that was negotiated on with IDW, the FOP. Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Aldrich. Larry Gibbons.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Motion carried. Item 6, we have to do this yearly, is appoint Kim Parsons as the City of Holdridge Street Superintendent for the 2019 calendar year. The city gets $6,000 a year to having a certified street superintendent, and we're fortunate that Kim meets all the qualifications for a certified street superintendent. So we need a motion to appoint Kim Parsons as superintendent.
I'll make a motion to approve Kim Parsons as the City of Holdridge Street Superintendent.
I'll second that.
Mary McDermott seconds.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 7, approve the Nebraska Department of Transportation Road, Street, and Highway Budget and Expenditure Report for the 2018 fiscal year. That's one of the fun things that Kim gets to do.
Yeah, just enclosed on we put on desk is Mary was able to give me all the information. I was able to get it done, get it completed yesterday. Got to do it all manually, and then tomorrow morning I'll be able to put it in the Department of Roads website. But on the website it states when it has been approved by the governing boards, and so I'll just have to put the date in tomorrow, which has been approved. But this just is all the actual money that's gone through with within the street department. There is the financial part of it. There, Forms 1A through 1E and 2 is all the financial. Form 3 is all our inventory of our shovels and our tools and whatnot. Form 4 is the equipment inventory, our pickups, our loaders, our motor grader. Form 5 is a cost record that shows what it costs to operate the piece of equipment throughout the year. And then Form 6 is a signature sheet that we have to do every year. And then there's an SSAR form that just shows how much Bob has possibly budgeted for motor vehicle taxes for the following year. And those are all the sheets that they are completed. And with the approval, we'll be able to get this downloaded tomorrow.
Awesome. Any questions for Kim? Not? Motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
And Troy Bob seconds.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Thank you.
Last item. I wasn't expecting to have this ready yet. Approve the mayor's appointments to the various boards, authorities, commissions of the city of Holdridge. Most people, they went ahead and said they'll do it another term. There was 2 that said they wanted off, Dale Harrington off of the planning commission. No.
Watchdog. Board of
Yeah, the Watchdog Committee. He's been there quite a while. I have just Grant, yeah, Grant Erickson. He's going to graciously said he was looking forward to doing that. On the Planning Commission, Swan Lundine's been there quite a while. He's getting ready to retire. He's getting close to my age. He says he can't take it much longer. You see, I've appointed a lady on there, Emily Anderson. Anytime I've mentioned her name, everybody says she'd be awesome. I just down in Bloodmobile and mentioned her name, both sides of me. Totally, she'd be awesome. So she's got a lot of experience from the city of Alma. So it's good to have a lot of volunteers and people who make this community what it is. So, with that, any questions? I'm always looking for somebody, if you have somebody who, I have a few other names that maybe we need to start another board or commission to get them on.
I move that we approve the mayor's appointments.
Aldrich, motion.
I'll second that.
McDermott, seconds.
Simpson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbine.
Yes.
Marvin.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Aldrich.
Yes.
Thank you. Now time for open discussion for the staff and council. Bob? Dane?
Well, thank you.
Chief.
Chief doesn't have,
Officer Erickson?
you don't have anything.
We've given you a whole week to prepare. What are you thinking, Caleb?
Well, Chief shot down all my brilliant ideas, so.
Before.
He said no to the armored vehicles, no to the drones, so here we are.
Okay, we'll let it go this time. Troy?
Nothing.
Larry?
There's some people that asked me about that house on 8th and Burlington, if they're gonna do any more with that, with the boarded up windows and stuff, and I told them I'd pass it on.
I think.
Well, they had the garage out back, and I contacted the owner, and I know the garage got removed. I haven't heard anything else since then.
Okay.
So, and he did get a letter a while back. I'll have to do some research to see when it was sent, Larry, and maybe follow up with another letter.
Okay. And then there was also a question on the hotel, if they're ever gonna build that.
March.
March, I'll tell them March.
We heard that yesterday.
Yeah. We've been asking March. Is the answer we're getting.
I'll give them that answer.
That's a popular question.
Grandpa's
Ben,
I have nothing.
Randy?
We discussed briefly this ball field complex. It's not going to be open for another year, and we need to get that word out. So, I mean, I know a lot of people have been contacted about it, but this is gonna be a long, drawn-out process to get this completed, and it needs to be to do it right.
Yeah, we need to take our time.
Yes, and we're going to. And also, people need to be reminded that this is where some of our LB 840 money's going. They're gonna pay the majority of this through LB 840. I think 20% was set aside for recreation, and all that is going. And I think I'm correct there, Bob, that that's all going to this baseball field, softball field complex. So people are gonna see where their money's going here, where part of it's going. I just think it's gonna be awesome when we get done. From what little bit I've seen, some of the plans and stuff. And if you have a chance, go over to Kearney and look at Patriot Park over there. They put in 8 fields.
That is nice.
Well, we're gonna have 4 just like it, just like theirs. I mean, it is gonna be really nice. And I also wanna wish everybody happy holidays here too, and safe holidays.
Back at you.
And you a Merry Christmas.
And Happy New Year.
Larry? Mary?
No.
Mike? Doug?
Yeah, I got a little pet peeve of mine that's
Uh-oh.
got a burr under my butt today again. The U-turns in the middle of the street, like on West Avenue and stuff. I had 2 vehicles flip around in front of me today. In one block, 2 people did it. And then on the east side of the street, there were cars parked all along, but there were 2 spaces you couldn't pull into because you could tell people had spun a U-turn and they were sitting there cockeyed where you couldn't park. And I know I've got the ordinance here that we don't allow U-turns unless they're in designated areas. And the middle of the street's not where we do them. You know, you don't do it in Kearney, you don't do it in Alma, you don't do it anywhere else. I don't know why we're doing it here.
During 4th Avenue construction,
Yeah, we allowed it
people
with
got
that.
used to doing
Well, they
a
were
lot of
doing it
things.
before that too.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah.
So, I just think we need to start enforcing our ordinance. It's not any different than any other ordinance we've got on the book we enforce.
Should we put a bounty on them?
Yeah. Actually, tonight on my way down here, I saw somebody else flip a U down
Was it a
there.
council member?
No, this was over, just down on West Avenue again,
Was it the mayor?
but, no. So, that's all I got.
It's a safety issue.
Yeah, because the 2 that whipped in front of me, you know, all of a sudden, you're like,
Unexpected.
what are you doing? So,
Thank you. Rod?
Nothing.
Tim?
Thursday afternoon, gonna do a walkthrough on the new bathroom at the North Park with the contractor and the consultant and see what needs to be done. We do know the outside needs to be painted yet, we can't do it because of the weather. But we'll do a walkthrough and see what needs to be done. And then we'll have, I know the city will have to have some sidewalks ran to it, so we'll take care of that in the spring also, but we'll see what-
is the color of the outside going to get painted or something so it's kind of similar to the other
Yes, sir.
buildings?
Yes, sir,
Okay.
it's,
I've been asked that by.
yep,
a few
it's gonna be
people, so-
something similar to the shelters that are,
that are
the
there.
shelters and the existing bathrooms up there.
I assume that's the way it was going to be.
Yes.
I had never asked you.
Along that line, Tony, the council signed a thank you note. We've had a generous donation from a lady to go towards the new bathroom. So that's nice to have somebody supporting our community that way. Thank you. Brian?
No, everybody have a good Christmas.
Thank you.
You too.
Mary?
No.
One thing I'd ask is, can we get a copy of all the weed and litter mowing assessments that we've done this year, and where we sit on them. Other than that, Merry Christmas, be safe, enjoy your families. This meeting's adjourned.
Presidents get delivered at 1325.
19
You
mowed.
might not like some of them.
You got the first two lined up.
What?